Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves, for the rights of all who are destitute. Proverbs 31:8. As a modern and civilized society, we have a responsibility to protect the helpless. While we have programs in place that give shelter to homeless animals, they're simply not enough. We're just placing a Band-Aid over a massive wound and hoping that through education, we can stop the bleeding. Animal overpopulation costs the country billions of dollars, poses health threats to its citizens, and snuffs out millions of lives annually. We need to petition our government to take a staunch and effective stance on the issue of animal overpopulation by passing a mandatory spay and neuter law to all pet owners, with the exception of certified breeders. Change begins with the people, and sometimes simple pleading is not enough to solve the problem. It is a presidential election year, and all the candidates want to talk about is the state of our economy. Congress is looking for ways to cut spending and balance the budget. Oftentimes, it seems as though there's not anything we can do as Americans other than pay our taxes. However, we can make a difference by taking proactive steps to control the animal population. I interviewed Carlene Lordman, Marketing and Outreach Specialist at Houston City-funded animal shelter BARK. She stated that it costs the shelter on average $200 to rescue, house, medicate, and euthanize one pet. The Humane Society states that in the U.S. as a whole, there are an estimated 6 to 8 million homeless animals entering shelters every day. According to the Ryan Newman Foundation, it costs taxpayers $1 to $2 billion annually to pick up, house, and euthanize animals. Animal overpopulation is hitting Americans where it hurts them the most, their pocketbooks. The only way to reduce the spending is by reducing the amount of animals shelters are taking in. By reducing the number of pets entering shelters, Americans can save millions of dollars. Those savings can be put towards programs that are always on the chopping block, like education. On average, it costs $70 at a low-cost spay and neuter clinic to get one animal fixed. That is a savings of $130 per animal. We need to pester our government officials to draft an MSNL bill so that we can see that money spent on other programs that do not involve the death of other creatures. Not only does animal overpopulation cost taxpayer money, it threatens their health. It seems like every month Americans see a story about a vicious dog attack or bite. Many of these attacks stem from packs of feral dogs that survive on the streets. Animal overpopulation poses a real threat to human health. The public health epidemic of dog bites, which number more than 4.5 million each year, is due in large part to uncontrolled breeding of pets. Rabies is spread through bites from non-vaccinated animals. Toxoplasmosis is a disease spread through cat fecal matter. It is particularly dangerous to pregnant mothers. Many come into contact with it accidentally when guarding. Ringworm is spread by simply touching a surface that an infected animal has brushed up against. Tapeworms are spread through fleas and can be picked up strolling barefoot through your yard. Animal overpopulation is costing the U.S. its health. It can spread diseases even to those who don't own pets. The only way to reduce an epidemic is by taking positive steps to control the animal population. Spaying and neutering reduces aggression in dogs. By spaying and neutering, we can reduce the number of pets roaming. Thus, we can reduce the amount of dog bites and feral packs attacking people. Even though pet owners can reduce threats to their health by keeping their own pets up to date on vaccinations, they are still exposed to these threats by the overwhelming amount of stray and feral animals. Mandatory spay and neuter law can help reduce the health threats for American citizens. While mandatory spay and neuter laws can reduce the spread of disease to humans, it can also save millions of lives. Americans know and accept that there is a mass genocide of innocent creatures every year. Many people are indifferent to the facts because they feel as though there's nothing they can do to stop the killings. According to PETA, just one unaltered female dog and her offspring can produce 67,000 puppies in only 6 years. In 7 years, one female cat and her offspring can produce an incredible 370,000 kittens. 6 to 8 million animals are homeless and entering shelters every year. Because shelters have limited resources, many cannot handle the amount of animals entering their doors every day. Because there are not enough adopters for the animals and the fact that the animals never stop coming, many shelters are forced to euthanize healthy and loving pets. The American Humane Society reports that approximately 3.7 million animals are euthanized in shelters every year. The Humane Society estimates that one animal is killed every 8 seconds in shelters around the country. Indifference is costing lives. Americans feel as though it's not their problem, but it is. People accept euthanization of animals as an unchangeable fact. This could not be further from the truth. If pet owners wanted to reduce the amount of animal deaths, they need to control the animal population. And the only way to do this is to stop the cycle. Reports from the Humane Society show that prior to 1970, U.S. animal shelters were euthanizing 100 dogs and cats per 1,000 people. That means that for every 10 people, one animal is killed. In 1970, the first low-cost spay and neuter clinic opened, and those numbers dropped significantly. Today, we see a rate of 12.5 dogs and cats euthanized per 1,000 people, or one animal killed for every 80 American citizens. From 1973 to 2007, euthanasia rates have dropped by more than 60%. This was accomplished by making affordable clinics available to the public and by educating them on the effects of overpopulation. Imagine how many more lives can be saved by simply putting a law in place requiring pet owners to spay and neuter their pets. One animal dies every 8 seconds in animal shelters. This is due to shelters being over capacity. Americans spend billions of dollars annually to help facilitate murder. We need to change this statistic. As Ryan Newman once said, spaying and neutering is recognized as our best defense against all sources of shelter overpopulation. Stop the indifference. Realize that you can make a difference in animal lives. Assume responsibility for your pets by having them spayed and neutered. We've seen the benefits of educating the public and making low-cost clinics available. Now we need to make a more dramatic step to ensure the safety of all creatures in the U.S. By petitioning our government to enact a mandatory spay and neuter law for pet owners, we can make our country a better place for all of its citizens, including non-humans. We can see tax money that is currently spent on killing animals go to a more noble cause like education. We can reduce the spread of infectious disease and prevent an epidemic. We can stop the accepted murder of innocent animals. Thank you.